Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome you all back here to the channel on YouTube.com. You already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Now, you may have noticed I was a little mellow on Twitter. I have been mellow on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, my phone, the computer, you name it. I was diagnosed with a concussion on Sunday. This week's been a little hectic. Aside from the concussion diagnosis, I've had a lot of college work to do. I have had 2 papers to do. I have a couple finals to study for, a test to make up. So I've been running in many different places at one time. And this is actually going to be a very special video. And I'm going to keep it a bit mellow because I do not want to cause a relapse. But for the first time in a while, I really have nothing new to report. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to try something new, and I'm going to be combining 2 of my shows. So I would like to welcome you all to the very first ever Lightning Flash Rundown. I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the weekly shows this week, as per usual, and then I'm going to do a mini rundown, so to speak, on the greatest Royal Rumble, which of course will be streaming live on the WWE Network from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, tomorrow, Friday, April 27th at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time. So, why don't we get into Monday Night Raw? So, first off, Monday Night Raw started off with a 10-bell salute and a video package to Bruno Sammartino, and a well-deserved 10-bell salute and video package. I was at WrestleMania 29, and I saw Bruno out there on the stage as a newly inducted Hall of Famer. He was my grandfather's favorite wrestler, and, I really wish him and his family all the best. He was a great competitor, one of the greatest of all time, and he had the longest WWE Championship reign of all time, 2,803 days, a record that I don't think anyone ever will break. And trust me, Bruno Sammartino, he's in a better place right now, and he's making a lot of dream matches up there with the guy upstairs. Rest in peace, Bruno Sammartino. Now, Raw legitimately kicked off with Lesnar and Heyman. And Heyman, listen, I really don't care who you are. Heyman continues. He just continues to be a promo god. It does not matter what Heyman talks about. He makes it sound fantastic. You could literally have Heyman go out there and tell him to talk about Tiger shit, and it'll even make that sound good. That's how good Paul Heyman really is. But what happened in this little segment? I honestly think WWE was trying to give me another concussion. Now, I originally thought that St. Louis was a gullible crowd because they were chanting for Roman, but I actually found out later on that there were actually fake fans, planted Roman Reigns scripted fans in the crowd, planted there to cheer for Roman Reigns. How do I know this? It was going around all over Twitter, all over Instagram, and all over YouTube, so much so that even the Great One reported it. Yes, the Great One reported it. He's one of the most positive guys on YouTube.com. And what's even crazier is he doesn't even care about this analytic stuff. He doesn't care about anything that I'm doing. All he wants to do is have fun. And something good on the Great One. I wish I could be a little bit more like the Great One. All he wants to do is have fun. He's probably one of the most funniest guys that you will ever see on YouTube.com. One of the funniest and happiest guys in the wrestling community. And just so you know, no, I am not name-dropping the Great One just to gain popularity. I have better things to do than try and gain popularity off of people. I don't do that. I'm mentioning him because I'm proving a point. Even he stated that they were fake fans. Even he stated that they were Roman Reigns plants. So I don't want to hear anyone tell me that they were real fans. Didn't you notice the awkward camera angle? Didn't you notice the fact that they were only focusing on this specific group of people? And might I also mention, when Roman Reigns came out, the entire arena erupted in boos. St. Louis really isn't that good of a wrestling crowd anyway, to begin with. But what happened was there were boos, might I add, again. Roman Reigns just cut a terrible 2-line promo saying that he will be back in America with the Universal Championship, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't give a shit about this. But anyway, this went into a match between Elias and Bobby Roode. It was actually a decent match. I'm assuming that this is going to be Bobby Roode's first feud on Monday Night Raw for the time being against Elias. Elias ended up defeating Bobby Roode, which actually surprised me. Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt had a promo backstage, and yeah, I could watch those two forever. I really could. I really could watch those two forever. Those two are entertaining as hell. They ended up defeating the Ascension ahead of their Raw Tag Team title match with The Bar at the Greatest Royal Rumble. The Kevin and Sami show with Kurt Angle. Sami Zayn is comedy gold. Let me tell you something. Sami Zayn, I don't know how the hell he does it, but Sami Zayn should have turned heel years ago. If I knew that he was capable of this, he was banging on the table and doing a You Suck remix for Kurt Angle. And then Kevin and Sami, they were just pissing off Kurt Angle. Kevin was going, yeah, you forgot one of his kids, Jason Jordan. Sami goes, yeah, I know, Kurt forgot about him too. I don't know what is it about Kevin and Sami, but since they paired up, they have been nothing but comedy gold. And you know something? Their in-ring work speaks for itself, really. And Kurt Angle then made a tag team match for later. After he got pissed off by Kevin and Sami, he made Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Rollins then rejected being the Miztouraj's new leader. McIntyre and Ziggler defeated Titus Worldwide, and a great promo took place between both men after the match. McIntyre said, I'm not here to make friends, I'm not here to steal the show, I'm the wake-up call that this company desperately needs. Let me tell you something. If they're going to keep him in the tag team division, the Raw tag team division, like I said, is looking pretty damn good. I am very much looking forward to seeing what McIntyre and Ziggler do in the future. Then we had a little filler match, so to speak. Chad Gable then defeated Jinder Mahal, and I was actually surprised that Chad Gable actually got the win. Hopefully this does not mean that Jinder Mahal is going to regain the championship. I really don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to put both mid-card titles on Monday Night Raw. I don't really think that WWE would do that. The Riot Squad had a promo backstage. This was basically more of the same. Finn Balor then rejected the Miztouraj. Then we actually had one of the better parts of the show. It was a very fun tag team match between Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. They ended up defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was, like I said, it was a fun match. Bobby Lashley actually got most of the match time. He was doing a lot of the work against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And when Braun Strowman tagged in, the place absolutely erupted. And I say it was a fun match because Braun Strowman was taking him on 2-on-1. Every time Braun Strowman got in the ring to take out Sami, he'd then go out of the ring and just barreled through Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens, he went sailing back first into the barricade. And every time that Braun Strowman ran over Kevin Owens had these facial expressions as if he got murdered. And my God, I was laughing my ass off. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, even in defeat, they managed to look funny as hell. Very fun tag team match. I was expecting Strowman and Lashley to win. Moving on, Corbin refused to compete against No Way Jose. He said, you're not on my level. And No Way Jose just continued to party. Then, out of nowhere, he blindsides No Way Jose. Completely just ambushes him from behind, punches him in the back, and he gives him a chokeslam backbreaker on the outside. And that was pretty much that. Moving on, we actually have, oh my God. I really don't even want to I don't even want to talk about this little segment. I do not even want to talk about this little segment. So, Alexa Bliss. She has this moment of bliss on the Titantron. I don't know what the hell she was going for, but she was telling some retarded-ass story about how Nia Jax stole a burrito... My bad. I'm That's not going anywhere. So you're going to have to live with that. She was telling a retarded story about how Nia Jax was taking a burrito bowl from an old lady that Alexa Bliss gave to her as a gift because the old lady was starving, and Nia Jax was laughing and like, what is this? What the hell is this? Is this a wrestling show? Or is this a knockoff of 13 Reasons Why? I'm going to continue to say it. I really don't care. I'm going to continue to say it. But long story short, this was a pointless segment that just led to Alexa Bliss announcing that it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax at Backlash. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins then defeated The Miz, Taraj, and a 10-woman tag, like we all love, a 10-woman tag, that ended in a no contest as Ronda Rousey actually helped out Natalya because Natalya was actually getting beat down. Monday Night Raw. Terrible show. Very lackluster, very boring apart from like 2 segments. SmackDown Live. This was actually the better show. SmackDown Live started off with The Miz and Miz TV. Now, it was supposed to be Miz TV with Daniel Bryan, but Big Cass came out. Now, Big Cass was talking about how him and Daniel Bryan, he doesn't like Daniel Bryan, and he feels like he's in Daniel Bryan's shadow, and, he's forced to live in the shadow of this little man, and he actually vows to retire Daniel Bryan. This was actually a very good promo by Big Cass. They're doing something right with Big Cass. How do you get volcano heat for a guy? You haven't beat up on the most popular man in the WWE. They're doing something right with Big Cass. And this actually resulted in Bryan being found assaulted in the back. And later on in the show, Bryan said that him and Big Cass are scheduled for Backlash. Should be a very interesting match. The Iconics then defeated Becky Lynch and Asuka. I actually thought that Becky Lynch and Asuka were going to get the win. It was a decent match for what it was. And interestingly enough, I actually thought that they were going to have the Iconics, or Billie Kay rather, win last week in her debut with Charlotte. But obviously they got to make Charlotte look strong. But the Iconics did get the win. Obviously they're going to be establishing them as a legit threat in the women's division on SmackDown. Then we had a promo package for El Ídolo, La Sombra, Andrade Cien Almas, man. I'm one of Almas' biggest fans. I am a sucker for Almas. But Almas is coming to SmackDown Live very soon. I actually think that his debut will be either at Backlash or Money in the Bank. Then Jimmy Uso then defeated Rowan, give the assist to his wife Naomi as well. Because Naomi actually came out. She was doing her glow entrance as per usual. Jey Uso super kicked Harper. And Jimmy super kicked Rowan and rolled him up for the 1, 2, 3. This is obviously the build to their match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And let me tell you something. If what they did in 2014 was good, then you can imagine that this match is even going to be better. Charlotte and Carmella had their contract signing for Backlash. Now, I realize that she really hasn't done too much to prove that she deserves to be champion, but what Carmella is doing right now, being a cocky bitch, like I said last week, her being cocky is good, because what Carmella got was legit heel heat. Something that not a lot of people can get. But Big Cass, he was able to get it. Carmella, she was able to get it. The Miz has gotten it in the past. So I give props to Carmella for getting legit heel heat. And Charlotte basically interrupted as Carmella was doing an old Kurt Angle trip. She basically just wanted people to applaud after the promo package that she kept on airing. But Charlotte, less is more with Charlotte. She interrupted, signed the contract, and flipped the table. And the face of the table landed right across Carmella's face. That was no fake ass bump. That was a legit table right in the face of Carmella. I'm surprised she actually didn't get seriously hurt. Probably a broken nose. But regardless, it was a decent segment for what it was, and now Carmella versus Charlotte Flair is set for Backlash. Jeff Hardy then came out for a rematch with Shelton Benjamin, but Randy Orton interrupted, and he took the match instead. And Shelton Benjamin ended up defeating Randy Orton. This was actually a surprise, and it was a decent match as well. Sunil Singh actually got involved. Hardy was at ringside watching the match, and Sunil Singh did a chop block to Jeff Hardy. He got in the ring. He was wearing a mask. Orton took off the mask and gave an RKO to Singh, and then was met with a pay dirt by Benjamin. So, my guess is they're building Benjamin up to be in the U.S. title picture. I like it. I like it very, very much. Very interesting to see what Shelton Benjamin does in the mid-card. The New Day and the Bar just had a segment. I'm guessing that this is going to result in the New Day being the Bar's first legitimate feud once the Bar gets done with Hardy and Wyatt at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Sanity, they had a promo package. Samoa Joe had a promo as well. And even if it's just for 2-3 minutes, Samoa Joe, fantastic at promo work. Fantastic when it comes to promos. Samoa Joe looking intense as ever, all focused, saying, I'm going to put the big dog to sleep once and for all. It was basically what he's been saying for the past couple of weeks, but he makes it look good because Samoa Joe, he's just that damn good. Then we had a tag team match, a 6-man tag team match with Nakamura, Rusev Day, and Styles and Gallows and Anderson. Shinsuke Nakamura got a new theme song. I actually like this. They played off the Japanese rap style with Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song. They incorporated them together. Very good. So now, Shinsuke Nakamura's heel turn is in full effect. Shinsuke Nakamura's heel turn is complete. And Shinsuke and Rusev Day ended up defeating AJ Styles in the club. Styles and Nakamura ended up brawling, but Nakamura low-blowed AJ Styles. Then he delivered 2 Kinshasas to Carl Anderson ahead of their match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I like what they're doing, Nakamura. Even though I don't like the decision to turn Nakamura heel, I really got to give a lot of credit to Nakamura. He is doing a fantastic job with his heel turn. That just speaks to how good Nakamura really is. 205 Live. Now, 205 Live, this was not about trying to steal the show this week in wrestling. This was not about trying to put on one of the greatest matches in 205 Live history. This was about telling a story and making everyone in the match look good. And everyone in the match looked damn good. Mustafa Ali and TJP started off this gauntlet match, and Mustafa Ali defeated TJP in a very good match. The story was Mustafa Ali's knee after TJP drop-kicked him in the knee. Mustafa was able to hit the 054 and eliminate TJP. And who better to come out than his greatest rival, Drew Gulak. We had Drew Gulak and Mustafa crossing paths once again, and I really don't care what anyone says. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Drew Gulak and Mustafa Ali, they are the 2 greatest rivals in 205 Live history. They had the greatest rivalry in 205 Live history. And they are each other's best opponents. I don't think I've ever seen anyone complement each other so well since the Usos and the New Day. These two were the Usos and the New Day of 205 Live. That's how damn good these two work together. They ended up putting on a good match, and Mustafa Ali, continuing to be booked as a credible babyface. He spent 25 minutes in the ring with Drew Gulak and TJP. And there was a point in this match where Drew Gulak threw Mustafa Ali off to the side, and Mustafa Ali landed head first on the steel steps, in which I thought he legitimately got knocked out. I thought he was legitimately knocked out. Now, I could have been wrong, and Mustafa Ali just could have been telling the story. That just speaks to how good Mustafa Ali is when it comes to storytelling in the ring. That's how good Mustafa Ali is. Drew Gulak locked in the Gulak, and Ali, he was already out. So they're saving Ali's big moment for a later date. My guess it would be at SummerSlam. Tony Nese then came out. He was facing Gulak, and Tony Nese, he looked good in this match. He beat down Drew Gulak to the point where it was just all Tony Nese in the match. Throwing him into the steps, throwing him over the table, doing moonsaults and suicide dives, but it was the overzealousness of Tony Nese that cost him, because Tony Nese found himself locked in the gulag, and Tony Nese tapped out. This rivalry is not over. This rivalry is going to extend a month or two, and it's going to result in a big culmination with Tony Nese going over as a credible babyface. That's how I see it. Kalisto then came out, and Kalisto then defeated Drew Gulak. And Kalisto will go one-on-one with Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight title at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Very good gauntlet match. Fantastic storytelling. They're only doing things right with 205 Live. Props to Triple H. NXT kicked off with the Undisputed Era, and Roderick Strong basically said he had an epiphany at TakeOver New Orleans. Roderick Strong said, yeah, he could have won the titles with Pete Dunne, but how long was it until Pete Dunne turned on him? And Roddy said he didn't just want to rule the tag team division, he wanted to take over NXT. And he says that he just wanted to be a part of a group in which they can trust each other. And he sees the Undisputed Era as trustworthy partners. Very good reasoning for Roderick Strong, and they basically said they're done being backed into the corner, and they will forever be here to shock the system. This then resulted in Adam Cole defending his North American title against Oney Lorcan. It was actually shaping up to be a decent match. Now, what they did, Adam Cole was sent to the outside, and Kyle O'Reilly came out with the EMTs saying, wait, he's hurt. But like the sly foxes that they are, Roderick Strong hit a backbreaker on Oney Lorcan on the apron. And Adam Cole came in and hit that Shining Wizard for the 1, 2, 3 on Oney Lorcan. Then, after all of this, the Undisputed Era decided to beat down Oney Lorcan. Danny Burch came out and tried to make the save. But it was not to be, because the Undisputed Era laid out both of them. So I can definitely see the Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch for the tag team title sometime in the future. That would be a damn good tag team match. We have Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair. That's set for next week. That should be a very good match. Heavy Machinery then defeated Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. It was a fun match, and Tino was the one to take a walk. Tino Sabatelli walked out on Riddick Moss, and Heavy Machinery got the win. And after this match was very interesting. They called out the War Raiders. Now, I originally thought that they were going to have the Authors of Pain stick around a little bit and then have the Authors of Pain face off against the War Raiders, but they're inserting Heavy Machinery in there. And what happened, the promo, it was very fun. It was very entertaining. Tucker Knight said, War Raiders, you think you can come into NXT and take all the stakes? And Otis Dozovic, I don't know how Otis Dozovic does it, but I don't think Otis Dozovic is capable of putting his arms to his side. He's just walking around like he's a football player, and he goes, oh yeah, Tucky, yeah, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the gym, and we're gonna lift all the weights, sasa. I don't know how they can keep a straight face while doing that. I don't know how Otis Dozovic isn't laughing his ass off when doing that. But regardless, they called out the War Raiders, so I can definitely see them facing off, probably at TakeOver Chicago. We are getting Kona Reeves next week. The finest Kona Reeves, might I also add. Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai then had a segment backstage in which Shayna Baszler, she was just bullying Dakota Kai as per usual. And Shayna Baszler actually said, how does it feel to know that, you'll never be me and everything that you worked for, you're worthless. Very interesting. Very, very interesting from Shayna Baszler. And, I can actually see Dakota Kai facing off against Shayna Baszler at TakeOver Chicago for the title. I originally thought it was going to be Nikki Cross because Nikki Cross was left behind in NXT because Shayna Baszler, she really doesn't have that many legitimate challengers outside of Kairi Sane. And we all know Kairi Sane is going to be built up to take the title off of Shayna at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. But I don't mind them going with Dakota Kai because it really gives Dakota Kai a chance to shine. It really gives Dakota Kai a chance to showcase what she can do when the spotlight is on her. So I actually like this decision, building up someone new for the main event scene. Next week, we actually had a big week for NXT next week. Obviously, we got Kona Reeves, we got Belair and LeRae. We also have TM61 and the Street Profits and Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. Those two matches are going to be damn good matches. So I'm definitely tuning into NXT next week. But in the main event, or the supposed main event, it was supposed to be Gargano versus Black for the title, but Tommaso Ciampa out of nowhere attacked Johnny Gargano and did the same thing that he did at TakeOver Chicago, hit the white noise off of the stage through the tables. And let me tell you something, Tommaso Ciampa is hands down the best modern day heel in WWE right now, because after Johnny was put through the tables, he was wheeled out on a stretcher, Aleister Black walked right by him, and Ciampa was on top of the production trucks, just waving goodbye like a sinister classic villain. Tommaso, I don't know how he does it, but Tommaso Ciampa, man, he's something special in NXT. He is really something special. But Black then came out and he actually called out Tommaso. He ended up getting Sanity, which I thought was actually very interesting. I was not expecting that. Apparently they're going to have Sanity spend just a little more time down there in NXT before Sanity goes up to SmackDown. This resulted in Aleister Black defeating Eric Young. It was a decent match for what it was. And then he just black masked Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane, and Aleister Black stood tall. Very good episode of NXT. Very interesting episode of NXT. Definitely tuning in next week. I cannot wait to see how they build toward NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. Should be a damn good... The next 5 months for NXT should be damn good. We're going to get a lot of great storylines, a lot of great matches. It is a prime... It's the prime time to be watching NXT, man. Prime time. But now that we've gone through the weekly shows, let's get to the rundown portion, shall we? Let's talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble. So, I believe, to open the show, that they should have Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto. That should definitely open the show. And I can definitely see Cedric Alexander and Kalisto. They could put on a damn good match, as I know they can. Kalisto, obviously, he put on one of the greatest matches in 205 Live history with Buddy Murphy the Tuesday before WrestleMania. Cedric Alexander, we all know what Cedric is capable of and how well of a superstar he is. Well-rounded superstar, might I add. So this could be a very good match, and I fully expect Cedric Alexander to win. And I can definitely see Drew Gulak fighting Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship, probably at Money in the Bank, somewhere down the line. Because Mustafa Ali, that's going to be at a later date. Mustafa should be the next Cruiserweight Champion. I can definitely see Mustafa taking the title maybe around SummerSlam, I would say. So, next match. Let's talk about the SmackDown Tag Team titles. This match, I expect it to be a very good match, as these four individuals put on great matches in the past. As far as the outcome goes, I really don't see anything else other than the Bludgeon Brothers, because the Bludgeon Brothers, they have yet to be beaten since they re-debuted, number one. Number two, and their title reign just started. So you're really just going to have the Usos win it right back from them out of nowhere. It's really just a glorified house show. I mean, I really don't want to think of it like that, but that's what it really is. It's just a glorified house show, so I can see the Bludgeon Brothers walking out victorious. Now, let's talk about the casket match between Undertaker and Rusev. I don't really know why this match is taking place, mainly because of the fact that they just wanted to get everyone on the show, due to the fact that, you know, this is the first time that they're doing this big of an event in Saudi Arabia, and they're getting paid like $200 million just to produce this event. So obviously, they got to get a lot of people on the show. They got to get a lot of top-tier talent on that show. But really, no question. It's just going to be Undertaker. Really, no question. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match. This is the match that I think is going to be the match of the night. Because you got Rollins, you got The Miz, you got Samoa Joe, and you got Balor. Four of the top superstars in today's WWE. Rollins, we all know, he's just coming off a win at WrestleMania. Balor, we all know how good he is. Miz, he's starting to shape up to be a very good heel. I'm starting to get behind The Miz now that he's on his own. Samoa Joe. I mean, why wouldn't I get behind Samoa Joe? But this match should be very, very good. I expect it to be a match of the night, and a potential match of the year candidate. Keep a close eye on this match. Even though this might be just a house show, this could be a damn good match. It could very well be a damn good match. And I fully expect Seth Rollins to walk out victorious. There's really no reason for Rollins to lose the title now. And I can definitely see Rollins dropping the title to Baron Corbin at some point in the summertime, and then Finn Balor is going to take the title off of Corbin near the end of the year. Let's talk about the Raw Tag Team Championship match. We have Hardy and Wyatt versus The Bar. Now, since The Bar are going over to SmackDown Live, this is really a predictable match, but it should be a fun match. And that's really what I'm looking to get out of this event. I want wrestling, and I want to have fun watching this event. This is not really an event to analyze and dissect. This isn't really that type of event. This is an event to have fun, decompress, and just watch wrestling as wrestling and have fun doing it. So I can see Hardy and Wyatt coming out victorious. And Hardy and Wyatt, they should have a decent reign as Raw Tag Team Champions. And I apologize for my dog. There's really no controlling her. But I can see them having a decent reign as Tag Team Champions. And they could possibly drop the titles to either McIntyre and Ziggler or the Authors of Pain. I'd very much like to see that. Now, Cena versus Triple H. Really, there's really nothing too special to go into this match. It's really just two of the greatest of all time facing off. I'm just going to call Cena. There's really nothing else to talk about when it comes to this match. But moving on to the WWE Championship match. This match actually has a very interesting build behind it. I'm very much intrigued where they go with this Shinsuke Nakamura heel turn. He's doing a very good job so far. I give him a lot of credit, as I've stated before. As far as the outcome goes, they've really backed themselves into a corner here. I can only see Shinsuke Nakamura walking out victorious. There's really nothing else you can do for AJ Styles. AJ Styles is at his moment in the sun. It's time to give Shinsuke Nakamura the time that he deserves as champion. He's earned it. He's deserved it since the moment he had that match with Sami Zayn, plain and simple. So I can see Nakamura coming out victorious. The United States Championship match between Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal. As I've stated before, I do not think that they're going to be putting both mid-card titles on Monday Night Raw. So I can see Jeff Hardy coming out victorious. And if they're smart, which I know they're not, but if they're smart, I would build up to Jeff Hardy versus Andrade Cien Almas at SummerSlam. That is a perfect match to bring relevancy to the United States Championship, put both men in a big match situation, give SummerSlam a match of the night, perhaps, and introduce Andrade Cien Almas into his first main roster title. So I can definitely see Andrade Cien Almas winning the U.S. title off of Jeff Hardy in the future. I really don't want to talk about the Universal Championship. Who really wants to talk about the Universal Championship match? The only people that really want to see this match are the brainwashed Roman Reigns marks, because they really got nothing better to do. We all know why this match was put together, because of the fact that Vince McMahon wanted Roman Reigns to get cheered, so they needed to take it out of America, and they needed to put it somewhere where, hopefully, which I really don't think they will, I'm praying to God that they destroy Roman Reigns, but supposedly Roman Reigns, he's more well-liked out of the United States per se. That's what I heard, but I'm not completely sure. Regardless, really, Reigns is just going to win. No one really cares. I have a feeling that Lesnar might win again, because there's been reports about Strowman being the one to take the title off of Lesnar rather than Roman, but my head says Roman Reigns, so I'm just going to go with Roman. And finally, the 50-man Royal Rumble match. There's really only a few people that I can really see winning this. My first pick is obviously Braun Strowman, because of the rumors going around that Braun Strowman is going to be the one to take the title off of Lesnar instead of Roman. So I'm really just going to, hands down, I'm going to go with Strowman to win the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he's going to get that trophy and possibly a world title shot down the line. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Lightning Flash Rundown. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DJ Storms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash update last week if you missed it. Do not forget to check out the rundown for Backlash, which I will be posting on May 5th, 2018, a day before the event. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and you have a great weekend. I'll catch you later.